Welcome back. This video is continuation of our previous video PST, that is the partnership status table. Now in this video I'm going to show you the things practically. So in my current database I have a 6 disks. So first I'm trying to create an external redundancy disk group by giving 2 disks. On the right hand side I just tail the alert log of the ASM. Now the disk group got created with 2 disks. So as I said, like in an external redundancy, there will be only one copy of the PST is maintained. Now let's clarify the same thing from by looking into the alert log. So this is the statement that was fired, and we can see that from the alert log. And here we can see that Gman process, which has updated the PST copy 0. So it means that it had just maintained only one copy of the PST in disk 4 zeros. So this disk so the PST got updated here, and the PST is just updated. We have only PST count of 1 in an external redundancy, so we'll be having only one copy of the PST. Now let's try to create a disk group with a normal redundancy. Before that, let me drop the disk group which I created now. I just dropped the disk group. Now let me create a normal redundancy disk group with 4 disks, that is of 4 failure groups. Now I'm creating the normal redundancy disk group with 4 failure groups. So as I said in the previous video, in a normal redundancy disk group, if we have 2 failure groups, 2 copies of the PST are maintained. If we have 3 or more than that, only 3 copies of the failure groups or 3 copies of the PST is maintained. So in our example now, I try to create a normal redundancy disk group with 4 failure groups. So there should be a maximum of 3 copies of PST that should have been maintained. So let's see the same thing in the alert log. So this is the command I typed for creating the normal redundancy disk group. So here I can see that the Gman process has created 3 copies of the PST in 3 disks. So though I have a 4 failure groups as part of the normal redundancy disk group, only a maximum of 3 copies are maintained. Now let me try to drop a disk from this disk group. So in that case, the PST should get relocated to the other disk where the PST was not there before. So here we can see that from disk 0 to 2 was having the PST copies. Now let me try to drop any of the disks which already has this PST copy. So let me drop this disk 1. So I try to drop one disk from the normal redundancy disk group DG1. So now let's see the alert log again. From here we can see that Gmon got updated, and we can see that the PST copy, we have 3 copies of the PST that is on disk 1, 2, 3, where we have removed the disk 0. So the the PST information which was existing on this disk was relocated onto the disk 3. So always it ensures that it maintains a 3 copies of the PST if it has 3 failure groups, or if it has less than that, it will ensure a minimum of 2 copies of PST. Now let's try to find the same information on high redundancy disk group. So before, let me drop this disk group. Now I'll be creating a redundancy disk group with 6 disks of high redundancy disk group. So with this command, I'm creating a high redundancy disk group with 6 failure groups. Let me also update the compatibility parameter of this disk group to 11.1. Okay, now it got updated. So now the disk group is created for high redundancy. Now let's see the number of PST copies that are available. From the alert log, we can see that we have 5 copies of the PST that are maintained on the disk from 0 to 4. So the disk 5 and 6 might not be having the copies of PST. So from this, it is evident that on a high redundancy disk group with a failure groups of 5 or more than that, it maintains the 5 copies of the PST. Now let's try to drop one of the disks, or let's make one of the disks offline. So the PST copy was already there on disk 4 zeros. Let me try to offline that disk. Let me try this command again. Yeah, now I tried to offline one of the disks from the disk group. So when we offline a disk, or when a disk goes offline from a disk group, the PST copy that is there in that disk should get relocated to the other disk in the same disk group. Now let's see this, if it has happened or not, from the alert log. Now here we can see that we have the 5 copies of the PST starting from 0 to 5, whereas before it was there on disk 0. Now the PST from this disk 0 was moved on to the disk 5. So whenever a disk goes offline, the PST gets copied or relocated onto the disk which was not having that information before. Now let's try to see that from the kfed utility whether the allocation unit 1 is reserved for PST or not. To do that, let me use the kfed utility read and let me select any of the disk. Let me select the disk 11 here, and we know that allocation unit 1 is reserved for PST. So from this output, we can see that this block type is reserved for storing the PST metadata information. And here we can see the copy count, which tells that maximum we have 5 copies of the PST. And we can also see the copy. The first copy is present on disk 1, second copy is present on disk 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So total we have 5 copies. And on the right hand side we can even see the disk numbers where we has this copy. That's all about the PST. Thanks for watching the video.